Saranjit Singh, August 2nd, 2014. I was 13 years old, New Delhi. I was actually in Srinagar on a summer vacation, and we got stuck over there. And that's what I found out, that they have attacked Golden Temple. And there was a lot of, since I started in a Sikh school, GHPS, Guru Har Krishna Public School, there was a lot of discussion in the school afterwards as well. And so we did get a lot of information about that when that happened. There was a lot of anger, and to be honest, I did not do a lot of research on why this was going. It was actually, now I remember it very vividly. There was two different school of thoughts. There was this whole media saying that a lot of militancy, they had to be pruned out, and they were trying to. There was also discussions about there were actually wrong things happening in Golden Temple, about that they had doing all kind of wrong things. There were like prostitutes brought over there and stuff like that. So that actually really, there was an anger brewing because of that. That why is somebody taking a place like Golden Temple and making it so impure? So that was all propaganda from Indian media, and that's where we were as kids drawn. And as we grew up and knew more about it, we kind of now know it was all kind of a biased propaganda. So at that time, it was an anger against people sitting inside, like Sant Bindawal and everything. They were portrayed, and Indian media did an awesome job portraying him as a terrorist. And we kind of agreed to that fact that he's doing a wrong thing sitting inside. So that was kind of where the whole thing was going at that time. Actually, very, very clearly, we were all in school. As I said, I was in Guru Har Krishna Public School in Vasant Vihar, which is about an hour drive from where we lived. So as soon as that happened, the school got closed and we were sent home. And as we were coming back, everything seemed normal, but it seemed like a big lull before a big storm. So I still remember that very clearly. Completely quiet outside, but we knew something was coming up. And suddenly, as we went home, we started kind of seeing all this news coming up. And we lived on the 4th floor of apartment complex, and we were fortunate. So we started hearing about things happening around us. So I have a friend whose uncle lived in Ashok Vihar. He was a guy from army, and we found out that he was killed. And but he went up he tried to call the police, he tried to call other people, nobody showed up. Since he was in army, he even tried to call his kind of office and said we have no orders to bring it. So he actually fought till the end because he had his own gun, but ultimately they kind of succumbed to, so we were finding all these things out. We found out our school was burned down as well. So it was a huge school, one of the most at that time very renowned Sikh school. It was completely burned down. Our principal, who became the chairman of CBSE, H.S. Singh, was a very renowned academician. He also saved his life. He used to live right behind the school, and the mob went after him, and he was able to crawl out and run with his family. So this is all was coming to us from different directions. The only thing I remember from my own family or extended family is my cousin who owns a business. He owns a shoe business, so his entire truck was burned. That was the only thing which happened close to my close circle. But a lot of information about friends, their families. Since we have a lot of family in business, we found a lot of their friends' shops were burnt and stuff like that. It was a combination of scare and then why is this happening to us? What did we do wrong? And I followed the case after that very clearly because Ram Jethmalani fought for Beyan Singh and Satwan Singh. And then the news that was coming out, and he was trying to give all kind of data saying these guys didn't do it. There was R.K. Dhawan and Sonia Gandhi was involved. And that whole thing was riveting, that this was kind of a setup for them. And then even if they have done it, taking that whole community and just kind of the atrocities that came after that was kind of inhumane. And but then again, there were bad stories as well, good stories as well. A lot of Hindu family and friends saved a lot of people. We were we were never in danger, but our house was locked from outside by our neighbors, and they took care of all our groceries and everything. And what I've heard is that all these guys were bad elements, was released from jail, kind of to do this thing basically. So this was a very active conversation. I was 13 and I had a lot of cousins and we still talk about that. I just recently read the book from H.S. Folka about when the tree and so those things kind of, this data has come, and this whole media which was so intensely kind of protecting the image about like how Sikhs are quote unquote terrorist, is still so hardened that it's still kind of, so we were discussing that as we were growing up with friends, since we all went to Sikh school. So we were like, what do we do to kind of but unfortunately there was never a moment. So I'm still kind of looking forward to be part of something which I could be doing actively to help the next generation. So this discussion that happened this morning was also very amazing, that all these kids are kind of getting acquainted with all the facts, digging out the facts. So yeah, so it's a ongoing, this topic never dies for me, basically. It's always an ongoing active topic. So my older one is 12, the younger is 8. So I've had the discussion with the older one, younger one no, but older one knows about it. He has an idea about what happened. So what my goal with him is to discuss more, to kind of give him more, because what he's finding out is through all these symposiums, and we discuss at home as well what exactly happened. And he actually asked a question, but why did it, the first time I told him when he was like 9 years old, so Indira Gandhi was assassinated by 2 Sikhs, but why did that happen? Why did the violence happen after that? So then the next question he asked me was, any other prime minister assassinated in India? I said, yes, Rajiv Gandhi, her son was assassinated 6 years ago. Who did that? I said, it was not Sikhs, it was somebody from South. There was another movement over there. So did they kill Hindus after that? I said, no, they did not. So why is that? How is that fair? So that was kind of the question he was asking. I said, it's not the whole thing. So it doesn't mean that a Hindu killed them, you go after all Hindus, but what they did to Sikhs was wrong, basically. So he is now kind of he's trying to draw parallels about what happened and everything. As a qawm, as a religion, we have to be cognizant of what had happened, and we've been it's not done. That was one big impact that happened, but this has been going on. A consistent effort has been going on to fundamentally make our roots very weak. And what's happening in Punjab, with Punjabi going away, Sikhi Swaroop going away, we need to, at grassroots level, be able to kind of collect ourselves, unify ourselves around the cause of Sikhi. And as I think you said very rightly yesterday, not just look backwards but look forward as well. How do we take the lessons from what has happened to us, unify ourselves, and move forward as a unified group? So the Sikhi is prevalent and moves forward with in the right direction.